So the trailer for Wave 4 for the Booster Course Pass in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe just dropped, and this is looking great. The track selection is great, and the quality is just as consistent as it was in Wave 3, and in some tracks it even looks better. Like, honestly, it looks like the level of quality that they put into Merry Mountain in the last wave and stretched it out across most of the tracks here. Because most of the tracks here actually kind of blend in with the base game. I mean, I wouldn't say they look exactly on the quality of the base game, but I feel like it's good enough to where, like, a lot of the models were upgraded and the textures look pretty nice now. So it doesn't really look like a tour track being ported into 8 Deluxe, even though they're obviously based on the tour versions of, like, the retro tracks and everything. I feel like that's fine as long as they tweak the models and tweak the textures to fit the game and everything, and it seems like what they're doing here, and it definitely seems to fit Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and I'm pretty satisfied with it overall. I think they're looking pretty good, and I'm really looking forward to it. Like, you can definitely tell that there's a lot of higher quality textures here, especially looking at ones like Waluigi Stadium and Riverside Park. Like, those look great. Like, I wouldn't say they look exactly like the base game, but they fit pretty well within the base game of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And I'm pretty satisfied with that visual style. I'm glad they're kind of shifting away from that cartoony style. I know some people were saying, like, it was fine to have, like, a different style and it fit Mario, but honestly, I don't think that style from the earlier waves that looked like it was ripped straight from Tour really fit Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Like, I know certain games could have areas with different art styles, like the Luncheon Kingdom and Super Mario Odyssey, but Mario Kart 8 Deluxe always kind of had a consistent style throughout its tracks, so it definitely looked out of place when we saw things like Toad Circuit, or even like Shroom Ridge and Sky Garden to some degree. But it definitely seems like they've been improving over, like, the waves after Wave 1. Like, Wave 2 had some iffy tracks, but it also had a lot of great tracks like Mushroom Gorge and Calamari Desert and Waluigi Pinball. And then Wave 3 was even more consistent in its quality, with Rock Mountain being the only kind of weird track here. And while Wave 4 does have a track that could potentially be kind of weird and not great in quality, I feel like it already looks a little better than, like, Rock Mountain and some of the other, like, iffy tracks in certain waves. And I just wanted to talk about that for a little bit. Mario Circuit, I feel like some people might be a bit concerned about this track, but honestly, I think it looks alright. I mean, there could be some more textures in here and everything, but the model for Peach's Castle looks great when looking in the background. It looks like it's almost at the level of the Royal Raceway Peach's Castle model. I'm not sure if it's that exactly, but it looks pretty similar. And I feel like the grass textures actually kind of look nice here. Like, it still doesn't fit the base game exactly, but it's much better than, like, the lower effort tracks that were in the previous waves. And yeah, I would even say Mario Circuit DS looks pretty solid here. Like, I know it's a fairly basic track compared to the other ones here, but it definitely looks better than some of the other basic tracks in the previous waves. Like, much better than Toad Circuit, or Mario Circuit 3, or Rock Mountain. Like, it definitely has more quality there, and the track selection here overall is great, and, like, there's a lot of city tracks here that I've noticed, like Amsterdam Drift, Bangkok Rush, and Singapore Speedway, but they all seem to be pretty distinct in style. I know some people were kind of concerned in previous waves that the city tracks were too similar, especially with London Loop and Berlin Byways, but this time it seems like they're more distinct, especially ones like Singapore Speedway and Bangkok Rush. Those both have a very distinct style, and it kind of makes sense that they're both in the same, like, cup, because they're very distinct, and they don't really seem like they're both, like, standard city tracks. They have a lot of distinct elements to them, which I appreciate, and yeah, I'm glad they kind of thrown in some more interesting city tracks in this wave. And yeah, they look pretty good overall. Like, the city tracks, I mean, sometimes they did look a bit weird with the textures in earlier waves, but I feel like they're handled pretty well in this wave, and I'm looking forward to it. And the retro tracks got a great selection. I know I already said Mario Circuit, which is a fairly basic selection, but that's fine. There has to be some basic selections thrown in with the others. But Riverside Park looks great. I like the tour version of Riverside Park, so I'm glad that they're putting it in the Booster Course Pass. And yeah, the fact that they're doing a lot of upgrades with the GBA tracks is really nice. That's one thing that I really liked about Tour, is the fact that they put a lot of effort into the GBA tracks. So it's nice to see that Riverside Park looks pretty good here. And DK Summit is a great one. Like, that's my favorite Mario Kart Wii track and one of my favorite Mario Kart tracks of all time. Pretty nostalgic. I've always felt nostalgic for the song that plays in DK Summit, and this has always been one of my favorites, so I'm glad that DK Summit is in here. I know it was leaked before, but I've been waiting for DK Summit to be added here, and I'm glad that it's in, and I'm really looking forward to it. So yeah, I already mentioned Yoshi's Island. I know this isn't a retro track, it's actually a brand new track. I did mention like a lot of my thoughts about the Yoshi's Island track in a previous video, but to summarize it, I really like that they're using the Yoshi's Island aesthetic here, and this might be one of my favorite Mario Kart tracks. We'll just have to see. And yeah, it looks pretty nice overall. But if you want to see my full thoughts on Yoshi's Island, you can check out my video about it that I did a couple weeks ago. And Waluigi Stadium is another track that I'm really looking forward to. I love Mario Kart Double Dash. It's one of my favorite Mario Kart games, and I was a little disappointed that they've been kind of skipping out on it with the other waves of the Booster Course Pass. So I'm glad that there's finally going to be a GCN track in the Booster Course Pass, and I'm really looking forward to it. A tiny bit disappointing that Wario Coliseum is now kind of unlikely, because I feel like that's one of my favorites in Double Dash, but I also love Waluigi Stadium too. Like, that one's pretty nostalgic. It was also in Mario Kart Wii. And yeah, the music in it is amazing. Like, I really like how they remixed it in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and everything. Because there was like a clip that released recently that shows like some gameplay with the music and everything. So it sounds pretty good. And I'm glad that they included Waluigi Stadium. So yeah, overall, this wave is looking pretty solid overall with the selection. And I'm really looking forward to it. I feel like this is going to be just as good as Wave 3, if not a little better, due to like Yoshi's Island and some of my favorite tracks like DK Summit and Waluigi Stadium being added. And on top of that, they're also doing new characters. I know I talked about Birdo in the other video, but it seems to be the only character that they're adding this time. A little disappointing, but it is good that we're getting more characters, and it is better than no new characters. So I'm glad that they're adding Birdo here, and it did say on the website that they're gonna add like more classic Mario Kart characters. So there could be more characters in future waves. They might just be testing the waters with Birdo, or it might be due to the fact that Birdo has multiple colors. I'm not sure what it is exactly, but it is nice to see Birdo here. It is nice to see a new character in this wave, but I really hope they add more characters in future waves. So yeah, this is looking to be pretty amazing, and I'm really looking forward to this wave. So anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more, and make sure to check out my Discord server if you want to. Goodbye.